my actual eyesight. Is there the high drive? Deep center! Go! 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 We're out of here! We're out of here! Say ya, playa!
Just like they drew it up in Hollywood, Caladros, the 3-2, swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! And this is it for good! The Audubon Green Wave are back in the Final Four! A dog pile on their side!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DW Broadcasting's coverage of men's varsity.
From our entire crew, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, folks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Game 2 of the 2024 Carter Cup right here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We've got a good matchup tonight with the Roughriders and Cherry Hill Pitman, and it was an exciting game last night. Roughriders had the steering wheel all the way, scoring 2 runs in the first inning, getting an insurance run late, and holding off a very late Cherry Hill Pitman comeback for a 3-1 final score. Haddon Heights' John D. Costanzo went 6 innings with 4 strikeouts for the win, and Chris Rollins went all 7, but in a losing effort, his second loss of the campaign. Sean Cottrell getting the start tonight for Cherry Hill Pitman, while the Roughriders are going to be rolling out Rutgers Camden lefty Chase Cooper on the hill for the Roughriders tonight. The transfer over from the Haddonfield Dogs found a new place this year, and as these guys get set to go, it's going to be a fun night, maybe for you watching at home, but not as much for us. Rain has been reported in the area, and we've been hearing some thunderclaps all throughout the afternoon, and it says that we might get something around 10 or 11, so if these guys can speed it up a little bit, that would be great. But obviously, it's pounding the north a lot. Mount Laurel's getting a lot of rain right now. Might be affecting the Zach Brown concert over in Philadelphia. And just a lot of question marks tonight. Can the Roughriders pitching and offense hold up to what they had last night, or was it a fluke? They're starting their second lefty in a row after starting D. Costanzo last night. So what's going to be the game plan? CHP isn't starting their number 1 pitcher. We thought that they would have saved Rollins for Game 2 just in case a scenario like this happened, but now, you know, they have to ride or die with Cottrell, which is their second best pitcher. And don't get me wrong, he's a very good pitcher, but that's not his first position. You know, they really have a whole bunch of positional guys that are meant for this, and Cottrell is right up there with Rollins, but then after that, if they have to go to the bullpen, we'll see what happens there. CHP has taken the field, or excuse me, Roughriders have taken the field. CHP will follow them, and we'll have starting lineups and first pitch right after this with a quick break. Top of the first inning, and number 8, Chase Cooper, the lefty out of Rutgers Camden, gets the start versus another fellow left-hander, Billy Rice, the former Phillies and White Sox minor league outfielder, getting the leadoff first pitch in Game 2 inside, and we are underway. We last saw Cooper in the quarterfinal rounds for the Roughriders versus Cinnaminson in Game 2 of that series. Cinnaminson won Game 1. And then Roughriders won Game 2 and 3 without any doubt to get themselves a semifinal appearance. And, you know, the Roughriders, they are in their 10th playoff game in this postseason route. That's going to be ball 4 to Billy Rice. Very quick free pass to the left-hander, and that brings up Adrian Gonzalez. But, you know, look, Roughriders had to play in the play-in round versus the Camden Reds, and then they faced Cinnaminson in the quarterfinals, CHBR in the semifinals, and both those quarters and semis went to Game 3. Meanwhile, CHP, this is only their 6th playoff game, meaning that the Roughriders have played a lot more baseball than CHP has, and, you know, whether that's for good or for worse, it still shows how battle-tested this Roughriders team is. There's a pop-up foul. CHP got the number 2 seed, meaning they got a first-round bye after winning the South Division. In the quarterfinals, they went to 3 versus the Sewell Wolves, took care of them, and then swept the South Jersey Grizzlies. So, I'm sorry, this is their 7th playoff game with a total record of 5-2 so far. Throw back to first. Rice tiptoes back.
And not the way that you wanted to start if you're the Roughriders, walking the leadoff man in. Rice is a guy that can be a real threat on the bases.
Especially for his age. I mean, he's 35 years old, and he's still the leadoff guy for this very well-seasoned team, considering his years over in Lakewood and later in Winston-Salem for the White Sox in Double-A, or in A-ball, rather. But Cooper definitely having to get that control down. That's going to be a big help for the Roughriders if he can get through the first inning jitters. But this was the same thing that happened last night. CHP got a couple of runners on in the first inning, but then they didn't score, and the offense just didn't have any life after that.
Well, in the game in which the Roughriders clinched to go to the Carter Cup, we saw Sammartino for the Roughriders just pitch the contact and really fill up the strike zone, and that was successful for him. Going to have to see if the starter here today can do the same.
Fly ball in the center field, trailing towards left, goes over towards Shane Daly, or excuse me, Eric Sabato, who brings it in for out number 1. So Billy Rice still on first here for Scott Shaw. But, you know, the Roughriders kind of have the advantage in terms of the pitching depth that they have. You've got some bullpen pieces like Chris Brown and Zach Welcher and a couple of other guys I can't think of right now. But, you know, the fact that they got Dane Sammartino, you've got John T. Costanzo, who you started in Game 1, and of course Chase Cooper, all very valuable pitchers. You know, Cherry Hill Pitman is a team that is very offense-based, while the Roughriders are a little bit more defense-based. And keep in mind, they are playing this series without Division I commit Jake Grice, who is out of Haddon Heights and headed towards Wagner over in Staten Island, New York. He is not here tonight. He wasn't here in Game 1. He's not injured. I just think he had a personal commitment. So now you've got Sean Perkins over at short, and these guys are a little bit short-handed on defense. That one gets away from the catcher, and Rice slides second safely. Count is 1-1 to the lefty Shaw. Roughriders took Game 1 3-1 last night, again scoring 2 runs in the first inning, including a wild pitch and an RBI single by Jake Swerdloff, added an insurance run on an RBI single by Danny Vasquez in the 6th. 1-1. Gets a hold of this one down the third base line. It's out of play on the softball field, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Decent wind here at Alcyon, blowing in from right center field. It was 85 last night at first pitch. Got down to 79 by the time everything was said and done. Tonight, 85 again, but with a chance of thunderstorms around 11 p.m. So maybe, I mean, you can just look to our left. Those clouds are something at a Final Destination right there. Definitely not promising. And we did hear some rumbles before the game started tonight, so hopefully that does not have a lasting impact here on Game 2. Cooper with a beautiful breaking ball. And it's going to be out number 2.
Good job there from Cooper to really bounce back after the leadoff walk and just attacking the hitters, filling up the strike zone, and then punches out the batter for the second out of the inning.
Especially after having that leadoff walk, he just didn't seem like he had a lot of control, but then dialing in versus Gonzalez and now versus Shaw, putting himself in a good position here. 2 outs in the top of the first. High and away to Rollins. 1-0. Rollins, the former pitcher over at Rowan College of South Jersey at the Gloucester campus, 2005 early draft pick by the Chicago Cubs. As here's a fly ball trailing out towards right center field. Calling for it and making the catch is McDaniel's center fielder Shane Daly, and the side is retired. Here in game 2, CHP left off the board early. We go to the bottom of the first. No score. Sean Cottrell, the right-hander out of Eastern University, gets the start here for Cherry Hill Pitman, squaring off against Shane Daly as the first pitch gets a piece of it foul. 0-1. Roughriders, as we said, they have been a team to score in bunches, and so is Cherry Hill Pitman. These two are certainly no stranger to capitalizing on chances. As the 0-1 misses away, 1-1 from Cottrell. Cottrell is kind of the second fiddle pitcher to Chris Rollins. I mean, there's no doubt Rollins is the best by far in the Tri-County League. I mean, you just don't argue with a 0.8 ERA and 115 strikeouts in 10 starts. I mean, you just don't get any better than that. But not to discredit Cottrell at all, he has done himself pretty well this season as well, with a 1.43 ERA in 29 1/3 innings. As there's a swing and a miss. Daly is retired for out number 1. That was strikeout number 29 for Cottrell this year. 261 batting average against and a 133 whip in what is now his 8th appearance. Here's Eric Sabato as we take a look at the Roughriders starting 9, brought to you by Tommy D's Home Improvement. For the Roughriders tonight, pretty similar to what we saw in game 1, if not the same, as first pitch is going to be rolled over to shortstop Gonzalez with a throw over, and it's in time for a very quick out number 2. But as we were saying, for the Roughriders, you've got Shane Daly in center, Eric Sabato in left, Shea McKenna in right field tonight, taking over for his brother Cole, who is not in the lineup tonight. He was in plain clothes in the dugout, and in fact still is in plain clothes there. There's Cole McKenna, the commit to Seton Hall. Ian Murphy of Lackawanna takes first base. Jake Swerdloff takes the DH spot as the player manager in the 5 spot. Danny Vasquez of Rutgers Camden takes the 6th spot at second base. Andrew Brown, also of Rutgers Camden, at third. Evan Carbone, also of Rutgers Camden, behind the dish. And that one is ripped down the left field line for a fair ball. And Sean Perkins in the 9th goes over towards Millward. A throw down to second, gets away, goes over towards first base. And that will be a 2-out double for another McDaniel McKenna. As here's Ian Murphy. Good piece of hitting there, you know, not waiting too long on Cottrell with his fastball. He saw what he needed to see in those first couple of pitches and then hopped right on it. Drove it down the left field line. Wasn't sure if it was fair at first, but he was able to get a good barrel on that one, and that brings up Murphy in the cleanup spot.
Yeah, hitter really turned on that pitch there, and a nice job of just getting the hands right to the baseball, roping that one down the line for the double.
First pitch misses, 1-0. Don't forget, we've got a triple header weekend coming up for DWB football and our 2024 kickoff. Tune in on Thursday, August 29th at 6:30 as it's the Palmyra Panthers and the Riverside Rams. Riverside looking to defend their first 500 season or better since 2014 and looking to do it for 2 years in a row for the first time in 12 years. There's a strike called. Friday, August 30th brings you coverage from Gloucester County between the Collingswood Panthers and the Clayton Clippers. Also, don't forget on Saturday, August 31st at 11 a.m., it's the Pennsgrove Red Devils and the Paulsboro Red Raiders. A lot of red over in Paulsboro, as there's a swing and a miss for strike two. But a whole bunch of interesting matchups coming up at the end of August. Also, tune in for RCSJ preseason soccer on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Men's soccer versus Cecil College of Maryland at 11 a.m. on August 17th. 1-2. Cottrell looking to get out of the jam. Murphy fouls it back. That baseball is still up there from last night that Murphy hit back into the fence back there. He actually went pretty close this time. There it is right there. Cottrell with the 1-2. Curveball misses low. 2-2.
That's the right idea there from Cottrell, trying to throw something down in the dirt, really not giving a good pitch when ahead in the count. Now really got to try and pound the zone with a challenge pitch here, 2-2. Don't want to make it a full count.
Cottrell looks over, and a hard ground ball out towards second base. Picked up, and a throw to first is in time by Eric Rollins to retire the side. We are through one, and no harm, no foul here at Alcyon Park. We've got 0-0 after one. Those rather ominous clouds not doing us any favor here from Alcyon Park, but glad you all are with us here on this fine Tuesday evening. As first pitch from the lefty is a strike called, and it's 0-1. This broadcast is brought to you by T's Home Improvement. Make your dream kitchen come true today with wholesale kitchen cabinets and countertops at heavily discounted rates. Visit today at 612 Creek Road in Belmar, next to the 42 on-ramp. 1-1. Fouled out of play, 1-2 for Austin Lay, the right fielder tonight. 4 men came to the plate. CHP got 1 walk, but went down in order after that. Downstairs. So a walk, fly out, strikeout, fly out defined at the top of the first for CHP. As here is Austin Lay, followed up by Montana Millward and Luke Lesh. Lay out of Gwynedd Mercy University. Takes strike 3 there, his 13th strikeout of the summer. And the second tonight for Chase Cooper, out number 1.
Good pitch there from Cooper to get out number one. And he seems to be finding his groove a little bit more as the game kind of progresses a little bit. Maybe a couple jitters for that first batter on a walk.
Yeah, and it definitely wasn't too much to panic over. You know, the Roughriders are one of those teams that knows how to quickly rebound, and that's not something that you can really quantify with stats. You can't really say, oh, how quickly does this team rebound, and put that into an AI. You know, that's something that is an intangible part of the game. As here's a ground ball to Vasquez, out number two. The Roughriders, they get knocked down, but then they get back up. You know, look, they've lost a couple games along their way. Look, they lost game one versus Cinnaminson in the quarterfinal round. They lost game one to CHBR on that walk-off in game one of the semifinals. So now they're in the opposite position where they're actually up in a series for the first time since the play-in round when they swept Camden. So it's not at all surprising that the Roughriders are playing the way they are. They're not exactly getting the hottest start, but neither is Cherry Hill Pitman. So, you know, right now the standoff holds here where, you know, there's not a lot of offense going on either side of the ball, but that's okay because, you know, they just have to ease into the game. That's a foul ball, and it's 1-2 to Montana Millward with Luke Lesh on deck. Or, excuse me, Luke Lesh now. He'll be followed up by the pitcher Sean Cottrell. Lesh, out of Rider University, a former Bronco. 333 average, 13 for 39, 1 homer, 5 walks, and an 871 OPS. The pitcher after him, Cottrell, out of Eastern University, on deck with a 083 average. That's a 083, 1 for 12. So going with the old Chicago Cubs approach of putting the pitcher in the second to last spot instead of putting him at the last spot in the order, which is definitely interesting. Here is the 3-2, and that is ball 4. So Luke Lesh of Rider takes a free pass, and we've got a 2-out walk here on the top of the second.
And sometimes those 2-out walks can be a little bit dangerous, but with the pitcher coming up to hit and an average that's under 100.
Now, I messed up there. I apologize. That was Millward who got the walk. Had something messed up in my lineup there. But this is going to be Luke Lesh now. Or no, they did skip over him. Here is Cottrell. You're right. I just don't know why they had Millward on first base. I guess they skipped over Lesh. But here's a ground ball out toward short. They flip over and they retire to side. So I'll figure out what's going on there with my lineup card because they skipped over Luke Lesh to get to Montana Millward. They skipped over Luke Lesh to get to Sean Cottrell after the Millward walk. So a little interesting, but they may have done a quick switcheroo last second. We'll be right back after 1.5 frames. Still no score.
They were able to get out unscathed in the third, but now the fourth isn't looking so kind. There's a high drive, deep center, way back, and it is out of here! John Perosi, 3-run home run! He's left the building to dead center! And John Perosi's blown this game wide open! Have yourself a celebration, Johnny!
All right, out here at Alcyon Park as the first pitch strike, 0-1. So we got everything sorted out with the lineup. The one that they sent us was out of order. Lesh was the second batter, so it was Lay and then Lesh who grounded out to second. Millward walked, and then Cottrell grounded into a fielder's choice for at number 3. But no mistake here. Swerdloff in the 5 spot. He'll be followed up by Danny Vasquez at second base in the 6. And Andrew Brown as the third baseman. That one skips into center field. Swerdloff contributes again to the cause with a base hit.
How about the player manager there getting things started for the Roughriders? A great way to start the frame with a single, and now Vasquez looking to add on with nobody away.
Definitely not an easy situation for Cherry Hill Pitman because they didn't save Rollins for game 2. You know, I think it would have been wise, at least if you have a time machine, go back and start Cottrell game 1, start Rollins game 2. If there's a base in the right field, Lay picks it up. Swerdloff holding at second, and Vasquez, who had an insurance RBI last night, checks in with a leadoff or a no-out single to piggy off the back of Swerdloff.
No time wasted there. First pitch swinging, sends that one in the opposite field, and now 2 singles and 2 runners on for the Roughriders, looking to do some damage early in this game.
And that's something that Danny Vasquez always did well at Rutgers Camden, getting himself into hitters counts or just straight up hitting the ball early in the at-bat, not wasting a lot of time, and just in general getting himself in a good position to succeed. 0-1 to the third baseman out of Cinnaminson and current backup catcher over at Rutgers Camden, Andrew Brown. That one goes to the backstop, a deep backstop here at Alcyon, and everybody moves up 90 feet. Swerdloff to third, Vasquez to second. And there you have it. So 2 runners in scoring position, and Brown not going to make it any easier for Sean Cottrell.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, whether you want to score that one, a wild pitch or a pass ball, it doesn't matter because the runners advance, and now 2 in scoring position with nobody away.
There's a ground ball that goes out to Gonzalez. He's got a throw to first way across the diamond, not in time, and that will be the first run of game 2. Jake Swerdloff comes in on an infield single, getting Danny Vasquez to second base, and Andy Brown gets himself by, and it's 1-0 Roughriders, pretty much in a similar manner to how Game 1 got their first run. Some errant pitching control and something in the infield, and these guys are on the board.
Brown just putting the ball in play there right to the shortstop, who has to make a tough play and a tough throw and then scores a run.
That is the 4th hit of the early evening for the Roughriders and their 3rd single in a row. I don't really know if that was scored a single or an error. I would imagine it's a single because that was not a routine play for Adrian Gonzalez, who had to throw cross body across the infield. As here's a bunt. That one's foul. Carbone, always a bunt specialist over as a Scarlet Raptor or even as a Rough Rider. But of course, you know, the pitcher Chase Cooper, a product of the Haddonfield Dogs team that closed last year under manager Joey Tedeschi. That team did pretty good for itself, had a quarterfinal berth, and, you know, played really well versus CHBR. Just couldn't get it done in the end and decided to drop out after the 2023 season. But of course, with 1 step backward, you've got 2 steps forward with the 2 new teams, the Sewell Wolves and the South Jersey Crew. Shout out to Tyler Coluccio, who has who's the head guy over there. 2-1. There's a strike called. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That one is poked out towards left field, hugging the corner. It's caught, and they'll get both runners back for out number 1. Big Cottrell, especially already in this jam. You've allowed a run already. You don't want that situation to be any more inflated or worsened. So the fact that he got that first out there and now having to deal with the number 9 hitter in Perkins makes your job a little bit easier.
Yeah, emphasis on big out right there, and a good job to the pitcher with 2 strikes, just pitching to contact, needing an out, and getting a lazy fly ball to left field to hold the runners at bay.
First pitch is a ball called. Perkins. And Carbone is an opposite field specialist. He likes hitting the ball the other way. So Shaw had that one played perfectly. Lazy fly ball, and they were able to get out of that with no issue. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cottrell trying to work through the number 9 hitter here, the shortstop, Sean Perkins. With Brown on first, Vasquez, both Rutgers-Camden teammates at second base. They're going to throw behind the runner. Brown still standing, but a frightening play nonetheless. And it's 2-1. Don't forget to tune in on Friday, August 30th, as RCSJ opens up their home slate of men's soccer versus Salem and the Mighty Oaks. That's a 12 o'clock start on Friday, August 30th. Swing and a miss. And also stay tuned for a doubleheader for RCSJ, both men and women's soccer, squaring off versus Camden County over at Rutgers-Camden at their Delaware Ave complex. 6 p.m. for the girls, 8 p.m. for the men. That's a doubleheader on Tuesday, August 27th on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. One is high. 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes. A walk would load the bases, getting back to the top of the order for Shane Daly. Not a particularly good spot for Cherry Hill Pitman right now, but Cottrell maybe a little rattled out there. That one's going to be a fly ball, hugging the right field line, going over, reaches, and he can't make the play as Lash goes up against the fence. Count is still full there.
And good communication from the right fielder there, as that's a really dangerous play for the first baseman who's running and just trying to track the ball. A couple of his teammates yelled out where the fence was and saved them from a potential bad injury.
That happened to Shea McKenna last night for the Roughriders, Cole McKenna, the right fielder. He was hugging the line, and he had a foul ball that he was chasing towards the fence where that bullpen is, where the mound is, and he dove, and he was maybe like 5 feet or less from the fence. He dove head first. Yeah, and for a ball that didn't end up being caught, you know, like, you have to commend the effort by Cole McKenna for the fact that he laid himself out on the line for, you know, what is a summer league game. Yes, it's a summer league championship game, but at a relatively low stakes part of the ball game, you know, he was putting his team on his back there. You know, and those guys at Seton Hall are going to be excited to have him this fall. That's going to be a walk to Perkins, and the bases are loaded with 1 out in a not so nice spot for Shane Daly. Strike 1 is called here. Roughriders already have a run in the bottom of the 2nd. They got an RBI, and now are looking to add a couple more to their resume tonight. 0-1. Strike called. 0-2 now.
I like Cantrell's approach here, just really pounding the zone and not being afraid to just fire in strikes and try and get a ground ball to really get out of this jam. Because really, CHP, all they are is just a ground ball double play away.
And that's a good way to put it. You know, these guys are in a jam right now, but that's the great thing about baseball. You can be 1 swing away from being down in the dumps and 6 feet under, and you're 1 swing away from also being out of the jam with a sigh of relief. You know, like what Shane Daly does here can change the entire course of the ball game with just 1 swing of the bat. Gets a piece of that one and fouls it straight back. 1-2. Roughriders, of course, were in this situation last year. They swept Cherry Hill Pitman to win the Carter Cup 2-0. They would be the first team since the Gartons of Vineland back in 2018 and 2017 to win consecutive championships. And then before them, Camden also went back-to-back. I'm sorry, Cherry Hill went back-to-back. Not even Cherry Hill, I apologize. Belmar had a three-peat in 2008, 2009, and 2010. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out to Daly, who grounded out to short his first time. 2-2. Barely taps on that one, and he started to run out of the box, but moot point there. Still 2-2.
And how about Daly just throwing his hands at that pitch way outside the zone, but they tell you that anything close, got to try and put a swing on it, just foul it off and wait for your pitch. So good job there by Daly in the box, really just to get his barrel on that one for fouling it off and living to see another pitch.
And that's why he's the leadoff hitter. He's their number 1 guy for a reason in this Rough Riders order. He'll hit anything you throw at him, except for that. And we must have the wrong count there, because that's going to be a strike call. No word on the count from the home plate umpire, so we'll have to wing it for another batter. Cottrell looks back at third, kicks and delivers. Maybe that's 3-2 then.
It's very tough to tell. We are very far removed from the umpire, and sometimes it's a little difficult to see the gestures, and some pitches are close.
And then there's just nothing. Like, for some umpires, it's very vocal and very audible. Like there, we had a 2-2 count on the screen. That would have been ball 4, but like, I don't know, that just throws us off sometimes. So again, we apologize. Just not easy.
Well, and pitches like that are close, and some umpires are very demonstrative and animated in their calls, and it's very easy for us to see over here.
There's a ground ball out towards short. Throws to second. Okay, so inning over. We are through 2, and it's 1-0 Rough Riders. Welcome back to Alcyon Park. Would like to clarify something from that past inning. So what happened there on that whole Shane Daly thing, we're pretty far away from the action here. We thought that he fouled a ball away, but the umpire called him out. He didn't make contact with it, and because the bases were loaded, therefore he couldn't run out of the box, and therefore it was strike 3. I mean, to be fair, if he made contact with it, there was no reason for him to run out of the box. So just that strikeout and the switch while I was, messing with my scorecard was just so seamless that we missed that. So, probably wouldn't have missed that from another angle, but that's just the way it is. So 1 pitch and 1 out starts us off in the top of the 3rd. Still 1-0 Rough Riders, though, and still a respectable campaign in that bottom of the 2nd frame, getting that run across on the RBI by Brown. And even if it was a little slower than some would have liked, Cooper's getting back out there and still seems to be in the groove here versus Rice. Rice gets a piece of it. It's 1-2. So Rollins with a 5-3 ground out. That is Eric Rollins. And Rice, who had a 5-pitch walk his last at-bat, comes up again here for CHP as there's a strike called. So now there's 2 strikes there against Rice. Way up and in, and that's going to drill him. Cooper had been throwing a little close to that up and in part in Rice's last, and now gets a piece of him for the first hit by pitch surrendered tonight. And that brings Gonzalez with a chance to turn this game around.
And got to be a little mad if you're Rice getting one right in the back there, but it does help the on-base percentage a little bit. Doesn't do anything for your average, and he's still technically 0 for 0 tonight with a walk and a hit by pitch.
And is one of the top 5 leaders in this Tri-County League in terms of batting average. I mean, still just a speedy guy for his age. You know, this team is so seasoned, yet they feel so fresh, and you know, that's what's so great about Cherry Hill Pitman. You know, a lot of these guys are over 30. It's like they're a men's league team, you know, disguised in this collegiate organization, but they still get it done either way. They're gonna say he got pulled off the bag at first. And CHP definitely had an adverse dugout reaction to it, and so that'll be an E6 or an E3 even. And that puts 2 runners on here as a quick meeting in the infield for Chase Cooper. And that brings up Scott Shaw here. So 2 on and 1 out, as with the lineup turned over and now already in the 3 spot, precarious spot for Chase Cooper.
And this is where you're really looking to do damage if you're CHP. You got your 2 leadoff guys on with 1 away, and now 3, 4, 5 coming up. Again, just 1 out. Really having the Roughriders on their toes, especially with the fringe 1-0 lead they have out in the field.
Make sure to tune in on Monday, September 23rd for out-of-conference soccer over in Central Jersey between the Clearview Pioneers and the Delran Bears. The South Jersey Group 2 champions look to defend one of the best rivalries in South Jersey as a pop-up. That's going to be an infield fly. Don't see a lot of those called these days, but the situation does call for it. And there's out number 2, but Clearview last year 17-3-4 under Dodd Terry, made the South Jersey Group 3, they were South Jersey Group 3 champions. Fell in the state semifinal of Robbinsville. That's the same fate that Delran fell to, losing in the state semifinal of Group 2 to Ramsey. So it'll be a fun matchup Monday, September 23rd at 4 o'clock. That one is high and away to Chris Rollins. Shaw pops out to short on the infield fly, and now an early rally by CHP, now hanging in the balance with a 2-out chance for Rollins. This one is lifted high in the air towards right center field. It's got some distance on it, and it's played out there in center by Shane Daly to retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Roughriders still holding steady as they get out of the jam after a hit by pitch and an error in the infield. It's still 1-0.
Tommy D's Home Design Center has opened a second location on Creek Road in Belmar, operating in Philadelphia for over 25 years and now expanding into South Jersey. Tommy D's is the place to go for kitchen cabinets, countertops, and cabinet accessories, heavily discounted compared to big box retailers. Stop in, take a seat, and watch as our experienced kitchen designer makes the kitchen of your dreams right in front of you. Tommy D's is the best in the business for quality kitchen countertops and cabinets that fit all budgets. Call us today at 856-210-9504 or visit the new location in person on the corner of Creek Road and Harding Avenue in Belmar next to the 42 on-ramp.
Here at Alcyon Park in the bottom of the third, Cherry Hill Pitman got 2 runners on but did not score. And Cottrell with a first pitch ground ball off the bat of McKenna. Gonzalez double pumps and throws in time for out number 1. We've got Thursday night soccer coming up to kick off the month of October between the Pitman Panthers and the Audubon Green Wave. A 5 o'clock start from October 3rd at the Green Wave Park between 2 former foes, now with everybody graduated from those contentious years, playing again in 2024. Fly ball into left field. Shaw makes the catch, 2 away. And kind of an interesting anecdote from that because, you know, back in 2020, when those two teams played each other in an early regular season game, a full brawl broke out between those two teams when they last played, and it was kind of a gentleman's agreement that, yeah, it was going to be a couple years before they were going to play again, because obviously they're not in the same conference, so it didn't make sense to keep scheduling a team for out-of-conference games if there was going to be a lot of bad blood between them. So even I was a little surprised to see them on the schedule this year. They were scheduled for a scrimmage in 2023, but it was canceled due to heat, as it was 103 degrees that day. As that one goes down to the right field line, gets past a diving Lay. You've got Swerdloff rounding second. He's going for third, and he's going to get up standing with a 2-out triple. Jake Swerdloff, what a night he has had as a player manager. A base hit in the first, and now a 2-out triple for his own team in the bottom of the third.
Turn on the Jets, Jake Swerdloff. That ball carried down the right field line, and a good effort from layout in right field, just couldn't come down with it, and he really, again, turned on the Jets and hustled his way over to third base. That's a huge spark for this Roughriders team. Still 2 away, though, but a man 90 feet away to scoring and making it a 2-0 game.
I mean, for a guy that, you know, wasn't known for his speed out of UMass, you know, it's surprising to see that. Lay is now being helped by some members of the team. There's Adrian Gonzalez, Lou Alvarado, obviously with Lay diving on that play, touching his right knee and lower leg. He's able to put weight on it, so it's not, you know, the worst thing in the world. Just hope it's something he can walk off. There's Billy Rice kneeling on his left, and there's Chris Rollins as well. He's going to try to run this one out, and you can see, not happy about that one.
And that's just one of the things where Lay did such a good thing and really trying to help his team.
Oh yeah, if he makes that catch, I mean, that's going on highlight reels for a couple of days.
Right, just trying to make a diving catch, not being afraid to be great, just laying out for that one. And this is just something that's unfortunate to see, as now he seems to be a little bit banged up, trying to walk this one off.
He's grabbing his glove. He's fist bumping Alvarado, and looks like Oquendo's coming out to right field. So yeah, I think Lay is pretty fed up with himself. It looks like he will be removed from this game, with Vic Oquendo coming in right field, a rookie for this CHP team. Made his debut over in Vineland back in May, but not being helped by anybody, just walking off the field under his own power. You got to feel for Austin Lay here, because CHP could be playing their last game of the season tonight. You don't know what happens.
Well, and for Lay as an individual, even though it stinks to be taken out of the game like this on trying to make a diving play, it's good for him to listen to his own body and to be healthy. And this is a summer league game, but it's nothing too serious to where he would have to miss time for whatever he has on his personal agenda, or even next year.
Exactly. So, I mean, you know, Lay is a long-time veteran of this Tri-County League, and the fact that you know, you don't see a lot of injuries in this Tri-County League because a lot of the players are more reserved, and Lay is one of those players that you know, puts his body on the line. He puts himself in that situation. We were talking about earlier the communication with Luke Lesh. He had a play over at the first base rail, and his players were talking him out of it, or talking it over, and saying, you're there. As here is Oquendo racing towards the fence as well. Don't want deja vu of what just happened to Austin Lay, but you know, it's not an easy situation for anybody. This isn't a high school league where you have athletic trainers and you have people that are, you know, medical professionals. You have whatever you've got. I've got a first aid kit in the back of my car. If they needed me to grab that, I'll open the trunk. But, you know, it's one of those things where in the summer league, you know, the medical care is a little bit more barbaric, if you will. They'll play through what they can, and you know, that's just an unfortunate part of the game, is that especially some of these older guys might not have the same durability that they did in their teens and 20s, and that's what makes it difficult for everyone. This is going to be caught by Eric Rollins to retire the side, so the 2-out triple by Jake Swerdloff is for naught, as a flyout by Danny Vasquez gets rid of the threat there. Austin Lay taken out of the game with a maybe a precautionary move on his injury in right field. We go to the top of the fourth, 1-0 Rough Riders.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Top of the fourth inning, still a 1-0 lead for the Rough Riders, as, how about this for short notice, Vic Okendo is at the dish. He just took over maybe 5 minutes ago for Austin Lay out of RCSJ Gloucester, the two-time back-to-back, actually, Division III NJCAA national champions, batting .233, 7 for 30. One walk, one stolen base, and a .491 OPS, taking over for Lay here, as there's a ground ball out towards third, picked up by Brown, and the throw across the diamond is in time for out number one. It is time for DWB trivia time. Today is a bit of a different one because we've got two correct answers. Who are the two Philadelphia Phillies, either current or former, to appear on the cover of the popular video game MLB The Show? A. Ryan Howard, B. Cole Hamels, C. Trey Turner, or D. Bryce Harper. Remember, two of those answers are correct, and we'll reveal both of them in the bottom of the fourth. I did not stay up to watch the Phillies last night. It was like maybe 11:30, and we went down 4-2, and I was like, I'm going to shut off the TV, and I'm going to get some rest. Because we've got some better baseball tonight with the Carter Cup. And of course, stay tuned for more information on our upcoming DWB schedules. We post them every Monday on our Instagram and Twitter at DW Broadcasting, along with our new Facebook with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting being the name there. So make sure to like, retweet, follow, whatever you need to do to support South Jersey Athletics. Here's the 2-2 to Luke Lesh of Ryder, who taps this one over down the foul line. That is a fair ball, bounces off of Murphy, and trickles into right field for a base hit. So not an easy predicament there for Luke Lesh, and gets himself kind of a lucky strikes base hit with one away.
And that one just looked like it was really hugging the line. That's a tough play for the first baseman to judge, and it looked like he tried to take that one off to the side a little bit, and it might have even bounced off the bag, being that close to the line, just skipped away into right field, but nevertheless a single there for Lesh.
I've seen that happen plenty of times, maybe not all that common, but seeing a ball hit off of the bag and you get kind of a lucky bounce, second lease, if you will. Millward walked his first time, and now ahead in the count 1-0 versus the lefty Cooper. Trying to right the ship here for Cherry Hill. Pitman as here's a ground ball. This is out to third. This could be two. Throws it wide to Vasquez, and he got him there, but he did not get the out at first. Didn't even attempt to. Millward will get in there safely, and that will allow Sean Cottrell to grab the bat to try to help his own cause here with a runner on and 2 out.
And that's just the way that play should have gone down. Getting the lead runner there was big because now you take away a runner in scoring position. A tough play there from the third baseman, but they get the ball over to second base for the out, and even with a bit of an iffy throw, still got one, and now 2 away in this top of the fourth.
And maybe that double play gets made if that throw to Vasquez isn't a little wide. I mean, he didn't have to trail off the bag, but he did have to extend his foot and kind of, because he's a right-hander, use his left hand with his glove hand to reach up in the air and kind of go across his body. That takes time away. And if you even attempt to throw to first, you might be setting yourself up for failure there. So, you know, he was reserved and he was able to hold off on that with no issue. That one's inside. 7:53 is the local time here from Pitman. We are in the top of the first, making really good time for this one tonight, as the Storms are looking like they're going to hold off till 11. Philly and Camden and the whole Camden County area getting rocked right now. Burlington County getting hit with those remnants of Hurricane Debbie. So going to be interesting to see how this will go. Yankees actually postponed their game at 4 o'clock before any rain even hit because they knew they weren't going to play. But this is what happened last year. Game 1 of the Carter Cup Finals got rained out because of a torrential rain that came down. We were set up on the hill where those benches are. If you remember, just a couple of weeks ago, we actually stopped setting up there, and we've moved over here now at Alcyon. But funny thing is about all that is that they never even threw a pitch. They were warming up on the field, and then all of a sudden, skies opened up, and Cottrell is going to give this one a ride into straightaway center field to retire to side in the top of the fourth. CHP gets a couple on, but nothing more. The Roughriders still holding on. They'll need some insurance in the bottom of the fourth, but we'll be right back. 1-0.
Launches one foul. See, Mostero's doing us a service here. Or excuse me, D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro's doing us a service here. He's letting us have this conversation by having a long at-bat. But a lot of people are still caught up in the D1 or bust mentality. Listen to this crowd. Listen to this crowd. We'll talk about that later. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Clapping it up here for the Roadrunners. 2-2. Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! 3-run homer! D'Alessandro! And it's a 1-run game at the crack of the bat. 5-4. 3-run shot to center field. Trailing towards the right center, and the cleanup man does exactly what the position orders. Cleaning up. And he does it incredibly well with a 5-4 game. He battles for 11 pitches and makes
Cottrell still working here in the bottom of the fourth as Andrew Brown pops this one up. Over towards shallow right. Lesh is there. He was left, one pitch, one out. It's time for DWB trivia time. Today's question is, which two former Philadelphia Phillies are or have been cover athletes of MLB The Show, the famous baseball video game franchise? Is it A, Ryan Howard, B, Cole Hamels, C, Trey Turner, or D, Bryce Harper? Remember, two answers are correct. Producer and color commentator Jake Clark, you got a guess?
I'm going to go with A and D, Ryan Howard and Bryce Harper.
Well, you must know your baseball video games well, because you are correct. A and D, Ryan Howard, coming off of his MVP season, donned the cover of MLB The Show 08, back when it was on the PS2 and PS3. I actually have a copy of MLB The Show 08, but it is only a demo because the disk drive in my $10 PS3 I bought from a yard sale doesn't work. If anybody knows how to repair a PS3 out there, I'll gladly pay a couple bucks. But Bryce Harper, again, when he just signed with Philly, was the cover athlete on MLB The Show 19. There's a pop-up into left. Gonzalez calls off Shaw, and they got really close to each other. But Carbone is retired for out number 2. Another example of hitting the ball the other way. But that whole funny thing about MLB The Show 19 was that Harper was going to be the cover athlete no matter what, but it was an unusual situation because he was a free agent. He had just gotten out of his contract with the Washington Nationals, and there were rumors he was going to go to the White Sox, the Yankees, the Padres. So MLB The Show, back in January or whatever, did the photo shoot with Bryce Harper. But he didn't know where he was going yet, or at least not publicly. So they actually had to Photoshop him in a Phillies jersey with a Phillies helmet once he announced his signing, and they couldn't release any promotional ads for the game until he signed with a team. That's a swing and a miss, and there's 2 away here for Cottrell. So a pop out to first, pop out to short as well. And there, nope, not gonna be strike 3 there, but that one's inside.
That's one of the things on a borderline pitch. If the catcher manages to drop or fumble the ball, it usually goes in the hitter's favor, as you got to be able to receive the pitch well and present it to the umpire. And if you're not able to catch it and squeeze it, usually the pitcher gets the benefit of the doubt.
That one is roped out towards left field, hugging towards the corner, and it's caught by Scott Shaw to retire the side. An absolute rocket off the bat as we are through 4 here at Alcyon Park. Roughriders are 3 innings away and 9 outs from their first repeat championship, or the first repeat championship since 2018. We'll be right back.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
All right. Top of the 5th inning. As Chase Cooper is still working out there. 9 outs away from giving the Roughriders another championship. Here's a ground ball out to short. Thrown over by Perkins, and there's out number 1.
And Dan, it's been impressive the way that both pitchers today have really worked just pitching to contact. And the only time we really saw any offense break through was for the Roughriders in that one inning where Cantrell got hit around a little bit and they managed to scratch one across. But other than that, it's been good pitching and defense, and that's why the scoreboard reflects a 1-0 game.
Billy Rice, as you mentioned earlier, 0 for 0 with a walk and a hit by pitch. Rice, from 2010 to 2013, was a .272 hitter in the Phillies and White Sox organizations. As a minor league outfielder, got as high as Class A advanced. Came out of Washington Township High School, went to University of South Carolina, but was not drafted. Had 6 minor league home runs and spent parts of the 2012 and 2013 seasons with the Camden River Sharks. Rice was wearing his Clearwater Threshers hat last night. 3-1 count to Rice here. And there's ball 4. So Rice still 0 for 0. 2 walks and a hit by pitch. Really using everything but his bat tonight. He's been using his eyes and maybe his body for the hit by pitch, but that's about it.
And if you're Rice, you'll take that. I mean, being the leadoff guy, your job is to get on and be a base runner for this CHP team, and he's done just that. Just hasn't been putting the ball in play, as he really hasn't gotten the chance to with 2 walks and a hit by pitch.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not really his fault that he hasn't put the ball in play, because he hasn't been given a good opportunity. I mean, that was a 5-pitch walk. So was his one in the first inning. It was a relatively, unenthusiastic walk, and Cooper surrendered a couple of those tonight, surrendering three free passes throughout his tenure. So that one's fouled back by Gonzalez, and it's 1-1. But for a guy like Cooper, yeah, he'll give up walks here and there. He'll get in a couple bad stretches. But this is the thing about the Roughriders team. They've been able to rebound. When Rice and Gonzalez both got on back-to-back, what happened with Shaw and Rollins? Pop out and a fly out. These guys know how to finish the job, even if it can be a little shaky at the start. That's a base hit in the right field by Gonzalez. He's now reached base for the second time tonight, reaching on an error in the third and now knocking that single to right field, bringing up Shaw with 2 on here.
And the top of the order for this CHP team is doing their job, with Rice getting on, even though he's 0 for 0, like we mentioned, and then there a base hit from Gonzalez. Now really looking at the heart of the order to kind of pick things up and tie this game at 1.
The top 3 batters in the order have reached base a total of 5 times. 3 times for Rice, twice for Gonzalez. And now Shaw gets a little bit under it, over towards first base. Murphy, oh, so close. He collides with the fence and ends up coming up empty-handed. Man, what a spectacular effort there from Ian Murphy. Just popped out of the glove. He almost reached over that fence. I mean, that is not a short fence down the right field lineup there before it cuts off towards the bullpen. That is at least a 7-foot fence, so he went up for that one, just couldn't come down with it.
And how about the effort from both sides? This game obviously means a lot for both teams playing for the Carter Cup. For the Roughriders trying to close it out with a sweep, and for CHP fighting to stay alive. We've seen, diving plays from Lay out in right field to Murphy over there at first base, almost jumping the fence to try and snag that one. So a lot of effort plays, whether they have or have not been going the way that some of these teams want them to.
Shaw takes that one low. Number 3 hitter here. He'll be followed by the third baseman, Chris Rollins, and it's 3-1. But as we mentioned last night, the Harry Carter Memorial Cup memorialized to Harry Carter, who led the Winona team to titles in 74, 75, and 89. As there's a base hit in the right, they're going to send Rice home. The throw is late. Now they've got to throw at second. Hey, got him. So they got Shaw, but they just tied the game up on an RBI, placing himself greater. Shaw with an RBI single that gets Gonzalez to third. With one crack of the bat, CHP has turned this game upside down. It's 1-1.
Great swing right there, and it's about time that the heart of the order for the CHP team has really stepped up. As again, we mentioned, the top 2 guys have been getting on base, and there, I think what allowed Rice to score was that bobble by the right fielder The ball was bobbled by McKenna out there in right field. Rice on his horse made a good turn. Coach waved him in. Good throw to the plate, and then a nice job by the catcher with the awareness to get the runner at second base, now 2 away with 1 on.
And that one is poked out towards left field. That gets past Perkins. That will give CHP the lead on an RBI by Rollins. And Rollins drives in the veteran Adrian Gonzalez. It is 2-1. So how about that? They got him what they needed, and they have been red hot. 2 outs, didn't get the hot start that they wanted to. Rollins grounded out, Rice walked, Gonzalez singled, and of course Shaw gave himself up there trying to extend it to a double. And I think that shouldn't be unnoticed. The fact that Evan Carbone makes that great play, knowing that throw has no chance of getting to the plate. He jumps out in front of the plate and he aims dead red for second base, and he gets Shaw right there, because this situation would be a lot different if Shaw wasn't out and there's still 1 out on the board. That one is outside to Vic Oquendo with 2 outs here and a 2-1 CHP lead as they have turned this game upside down here in the top of the 5th.
And for Oquendo, it's never fun to be told that you're down for the day, you're not going to be in the starting lineup, but a nice job by him to just be ready for when his number was called. Lay went down with a bit of an injury, and hopefully that he's all right and it's nothing too serious. But for Oquendo, just ready to come into the game and now trying to make something happen with 2 away.
Cooper is set, having to get out of this jam, and that's inside as well. Cooper struggling with a little bit of control here. You saw that versus Cinnamon in the quarterfinal round. He was doing good all night, but as soon as he ran into a little bit of trouble, they had to pull him because his control just wasn't there. We saw that with, the lefty out of the Grizzlies last night, as this one's hit, or last week, excuse me. This one's hitting the straightaway right field, and a can of corn for Shea McKenna retires the side. But how about Cherry Hill Pitman? Back-to-back RBI singles by Scott Shaw and Chris Rollins to go from 0 to 100 in a blink of an eye. CHP leads 2-1 going to the bottom of the 5th.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
So CHP, if you fell asleep for a couple minutes, you are back in it, because this game did not have a lot of action for the longest time, and now CHP has woken us all up with a 2-run frame, a walk to Rice, and then 3 singles in a row. Back-to-back RBI singles by Scott Shaw and Chris Rollins have turned this game effectively on its head, and it's now 2-1 in the bottom of the 5th. So CHP looking to make sure that this game goes to this series goes to a do-or-die Game 3 tomorrow night. Here's a fly ball in the shallow right. Who's got it? And it is caught at second by Eric Rollins. Great play, and there's out number 1.
And that's one of those plays where the ball just almost could have dropped in no man's land, but a good job by Rollins to just run that one down and be demonstrative and communicate with his teammates to yell, I got it, ball, or me, or whatever he was yelling out there, to just come down with that one for the first out of the inning, and a big one now as the game is 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, if that's a 1-0 game, that's a way to defend your deficit and try to turn things around. But these guys have already turned things around. And we've mentioned it time and time again like a broken record. This league is dominated by pitching. You know, game 1 of the Carter Cup this year was a 3-1 final. 2 runs in the first, 1 run in the 6th, and then another in the bottom of the 7th. That was it. Here's a ground ball, a deep short. Throw across is in time, and that's out number 2 as Sabato is now retired. So Daly pops out to second. Sabato grounds out to short, and here is Shea McKenna of McDaniel.
And how about Cantrell here? After his guys in the dugout put up a 2-spot and give him the lead, he comes out with what seems to be on track with a quick inning. So far, 2 outs in just a couple of pitches, and really trying to get those hot bats back in the dugout.
And the funny thing about it all is that Cottrell only has 1 strikeout tonight. Only 1. And, you know, he's not necessarily bad at strikeouts in any way. Or I'm sorry, he has 2 strikeouts tonight. It's a fly ball in a straightaway center. Rice is there to end the inning. But for 30 strikeouts, he's only averaged maybe 3 or 4 per game. So Cottrell pitching in contact out of the Roughriders book. For right now, it seems to be working. We're through 5 at Alcyon Park, and just over an hour into this one, it is 2-1, Cherry Hill Pitman.
Tommy D's Home Design Center has opened a second location on Creek Road in Belmar, operating in Philadelphia for over 25 years and now expanding into South Jersey. Tommy D's is the place to go for kitchen cabinets, countertops, and cabinet accessories, heavily discounted compared to big box retailers. Stop in, take a seat, and watch as our experienced kitchen designer makes the kitchen of your dreams right in front of you. Tommy D's is the best in the business for quality kitchen countertops and cabinets that fit all budgets. Call us today at 856-210-9504 or visit the new location in person on the corner of Creek Road and Harding Avenue in Belmar next to the 42 on-ramp.
All right. Luke Lesh shows bunt on the first pitch, but retreats, and it's called a strike, so it is 0-1. Lesh, Millward, and Cottrell. I feel like I just saw a flash in the sky. That's not exactly promising, but these guys are just 2 innings away from taking care of this here at Alcyon Park. Cooper still out there. Delivers that one low, and the count is 1-2 from the Rutgers-Camden lefty.
And Dan, the thing that I was just about to say regarding the weather is the most shocking thing that has happened today with this game is not even about the game itself. It's the fact that the rain has not come through yet. I'm surprised that we're still out here at, what is it now, 8:15, and the rain has not come down. It's been pretty good weather with, again, weather in surrounding counties being right now in flood watch.
Well, you don't know anything about what a jinx is, don't you? I mean, you have not learned a single thing, because that is the kiss of death right there. But I mean, the forecast said it was going to be it was going to be like 11 o'clock. So that's what I was looking at. Lesh walks, but yeah, back at home, you know, in Camden County and Burlington County, it was looking like it was going to be closer to 7 and 8, and it's pounding them up there. But for whatever reason, it's meeting us in the middle there. And now here comes out the UMass product and player manager Jake Swerdloff out to talk to Chase Cooper here. Chase Cooper, in his 6th inning of work, has a grand total of just 2 strikeouts tonight, and they are going to go to a new fella in the bullpen. So Chase Cooper is out, and we'll see who they bring in just a moment as we have a DWB pitching change, our first of the night. Cottrell still working hard for CHP, but the Roughriders down by 1 in game 2, going to a different option. And it looks like it's going to be Chris Brown, number 19 of Arcadia University. So Roughriders already surrendered a runner on with a base hit to Luke Lesh. We'll be right back here in the top of the 6th. Chris Brown, the new right-hander for the Roughriders, stepping in with Luke Lesh on first after a walk. Chase Cooper with his 4th free pass of the night. That denies him a chance at another batter. Chris Brown out of Arcadia, 2.25 ERA, 1.93 whip, 9 1/3 innings. This is his 7th appearance of the year, just 5 strikeouts and 11 walks. Big swing and a miss there to Millward, and it's 1-1. So, I mean, this is the situation that the Roughriders did not want themselves in, especially as the visiting team in game 1. You put yourself up with a win. Now you're the home team, and you can't really defend that right now. So, you know, CHP looking to get that insurance, but in this kind of environment, there's not a lot of insurance to go around. So obviously they're going to try to do the best that they can, but this is not going to be easy for anybody going forward.
And if you're Cooper, you don't really have anything to hang your hat on. Just got hit around a little bit. And the one thing that was really glaring in the difference between the pitchers was the free passes. The free passes kind of allowed, especially to Rice, who had 3, not walks, but 2 walks and a hit by pitch. Those are some things where you're giving up free base runners and allowing for CHP to kind of put pieces in motion, and they finally were able to break through later into this game.
I mean, that's what happened with Rice's 5-pitch walk in the top half of the 5th, where they got those 2 runs. That sparked, you know, that rally that had 3 singles in a row. Shaw with the RBI, Rollins with the 2nd RBI. You know, that probably doesn't happen, as here's a fly ball deep down the left field line. Home run distance, but a foul ball. It's 2-2 to Montana Millward here.
I think Millward saw that one well, just a little too jumpy and excited as he was early on that one. Now has to focus up and protect with 2 strikes.
And just saw another flash in the sky to our left. Absolutely dumping buckets in Central Jersey right now. but Pitman appears to be somewhat safe right now. It actually looks like it's going over into Central Jersey. Yeah, I mean, it's hitting home, but that's just very surprising here. A quick meeting here, and we'll show you real quick what we're talking about as here's a little look at the forecast. The big blue dot on the bottom of your screen is Pitman, and there's the line above us. And now that's the freeze frame of the forecast right now. And you can see it's moving above us, and that second line might be hitting in about 2 hours. But right now, that is not our point of concern, because they should be able to get through, knock on wood, the rest of this game by 10 o'clock tonight when the rain is supposed to come in. But it is supposed to come in, and it's supposed to come in hard. But that one goes down the right field line. That's going to get a free base for CHP, and it's going to get 2 free bases for CHP. They rail in the throw. It is going to be... Did they say they got him? I mean, the Roughriders certainly thought they got him, but they did not. The throw certainly beat him. And wow, what a close play that was. 2 bases on an error. An E1 by Chris Brown puts the insurance run on third.
And Brown's going to want that one back. Just an errant pickoff throw that allows for the runner to go from first to third. And with nobody out in this top of the 6th, CHP has a good chance to extend their lead.
And that's not an easy pill to swallow by any means, because, you know, in a game where every run, every out matters, because right now it's a 1-run game in the top of the 6th, you don't know what's going to happen next. So these guys are right now at the skin of their teeth, and now with the runner on third, infield coming in for Cherry Hill, or excuse me, for the Roughriders, trying to defend the deficit that they have and not make the situation any worse. That one is cracked out towards left. It looks like he broke his bat. That's going to be an RBI single, and talk about wanting that one back. Luke Lesh scores, and Montana Millward fights through the fire and fury to make it a 3-1 game off of the reliever Brown.
And if Lesh is held at first, we're looking at an entirely different inning right now, as we're looking at first and second with nobody out. Still not a great spot to be in if you're the Roughriders, but now giving up a run and now another runner on, still with nobody away in this top of the 6th. Chris Brown really going to have to bear down and try and get some outs in this top frame.
Well, he's got Cottrell up now, who's 0 for 2 and 1 for 14 in this Tri-County campaign, batting below the 100 mark, and trails that one for a little bit of chin music, and it's 1-0. Eric Rollins also 0 for 2 tonight with 2 ground outs. He is on deck, but you know, the big thing about what these guys have to offer is that you know, Cherry Hill Pitman right now, they are getting it clicked. They're getting in motion, and you know, Chris Rollins described before in one of our interviews that, you know, he doesn't always, or his team doesn't have the smoothest start always. Sometimes it gets them a little bit to get going. It's those first inning jitters, and then sometimes when you're in motion, you just don't know when to stop. And these guys right now are fully in motion of a good offensive output here tonight, getting up 3-1 as the visitor in the top of the 6th. Millward trailing off of first. That one is outside, and it's 3-0 to the pitcher Cottrell, who, as we said, an .083 batting average, nothing to write home about. And he might get a free base with not a lot of predicament to it. 3 balls, no strikes. Still nobody out, as Chris Brown looking to hold on to it here. Strike called, and another flash to our left. We were mentioning earlier, Harry Carter, the namesake of the Carter Cup, honored in 1989, won 3 league championships with the Winona Club in 1974, 75, and 1983. He retired from managing in 1987 at the astonishing age of 84, after managing amateur teams as early as 1940, with an amazing almost 4 decades of service. And in fact, yeah, I apologize, 47 years of service indeed. Was awarded as the namesake in 1989. And the Roughriders, since the Cup was named and since the club was established, as that is a full count walk to Sean Cottrell. How about that? And that puts 2 runners on. But the Roughriders with championships in 1993, along with 2006, 2021, and 2023. So they'd be looking for their 5th league title since their founding, if you will. and they're looking for their first ever consecutive titles. The history of consecutive titles definitely goes a long way, as there have been some true dynasties in the Tri-County League year over year, because it's not like a high school or college team where players just drop off. You know, if you can find a really solid team for years on end, and you know, you end up getting a really solid club together. Of course, the famous Dr. Connor teams won 5 in a row from 1997 to 2001, and won another one back in 1995 for 6 titles in 7 years. 4 in a row from Miller All-Stars in 1985, 86, 87, and 88. 3 in a row from Haddonfield from 70, 71, and 72. And the first case of a repeat champion was very early on. Grenlock won in 54 and 55, just the second and third years of the Tri-County League. Blackwood went back-to-back in 58 and 59. Dobbs of Westville went 60 and 61. As now they're going to throw behind the runner. They've got him in a pickle. Now they're going to throw down to third. And they got him there. So that is out number 1 as Word retired on the throw. As a good throw there and a high IQ play by Carbone to get the lead runner out, and that definitely is a sigh of relief for the Roughriders, who are not in a great spot here.
Well, and that's a risky play by Carbone, because if he throws that one away, you're looking at a potential now first and third with nobody away. But a good job to just make an accurate throw through a seed down to second base, and then they got him caught in a pickle, as you said, Dan, for the first out of the inning.
That one is upstairs, and it's a 3-0 count. So after Westville in 60 and 61, the next repeats were Haddonfield in 70 through 72, Winona in 74-75. Miller All-Stars went 4 in a row from 84 to 88. Dr. Connor, 95 to 01. And then you had Belmar going with a three-peat in 08, 09, and 2010. Garton's going 2017 and 2018, and then Roughriders looking to be yet another repeat champion. But they have to get some runs on the board first, as there's a strike called. Count is full here. You've got just the runner on first. Three-two. Strike 3 called. Rollins knew it, albeit a little controversial, and there's out number 2. It's a big break for the Roughriders there. You know, Brown obviously coming in, that runner scoring Lesh it was both his fault and not his fault, because he threw the ball away, and that got Lesh to third. But the previous pitcher, Cooper, walked Lesh to get him on first in the first place, so it's not an earned run. So, you know, it helps in that way individually, but it also doesn't help because your team gave it up in the first place. Murphy's going to get this one at first, and a tap out by Billy Rice finally puts a ball in play on the first pitch and ends the inning. We bottom of the 6th, and the Cherry Hill Pitman Club gets themselves an insurance run. It is 3-1 going to the bottom of the 6th.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Bottom of the 6th inning, and how about Cherry Hill Pitman turning it around? Sean Cottrell getting himself a great start tonight, entering his 6th inning of work. Fires a first pitch strike.
And how about Cottrell? I mean, the star guy for the CHP pitching staff is Rollins, who's been the best pitcher in the league for, and it's not really up for debate.
No.
I mean, he was easily statistically the best pitcher in the Tri-County League.
In almost every category, too.
And so for that reason, Cottrell had some really big shoes to fill tonight. And on top of that, being down 1-0, but to this point, he's pitched extremely well, only got hit around really early in this game. And you mentioned the strikeout number hasn't been there like we see with Rollins, but what has been there is he's filled up the strike zone, his strike rate has been good, and his defense has played well behind him.
The big thing about Cottrell is that he's thrown a lot of first pitch strikes, and that one misses. But, you know, like he having just 2 strikeouts tonight, you know, is one thing. But the fact that, you know, he has been able to ramp up that production and make it a whole lot better for himself, you know, that's a great thing to see. So the fact that that he's still working out here and making it easy for the rest of his team, you know, putting it in his hands is really an impressive feat. 1-2. Wind is starting to pick up here a little bit, giving me PTSD from the American Legion Championships when we had that wind swirling around for like 40 minutes. We're hunkered inside the tent, or we were at the time, and that's going to be a base hit in the center field to start off the bottom of the 6th as we get this party started with Ian Murphy. So that'll bring up their number 5 hitter, that being Vic Oquendo here. And actually, this is Danny Vasquez. So they are making a change. I'm sorry, this is Swerdloff. I apologize. Vasquez was just grabbing the bat. That threw me off for a second, but you get the point. So here's Swerdloff here. 2 for 2, a single and a triple so far tonight. Strike called, 0-1.
And now every at-bat for the Roughriders just means a little bit more, as they were so close and holding on to a 1-0 lead and putting this one away. Now they have to claw their way back if they want to be victorious Carter Cup champs here tonight.
And of course, Swerdloff with the single in the 2nd helped get one of those runs across, and now that triple in the 3rd as well. Really impressive there by Swerdloff. Out of UMass. That was his 8th extra base hit of the year. He had 7 doubles, no triples, and no homers to that point. So that triple definitely is a first for him here with the Roughriders. Of course, him playing for the Roughs in the past, but being promoted to manager in April after Thomas Gasse stepped down from the position. And they call him safe at first. Close call. Even Billy Rice said he got him, but a little bit premature there. But Swerdloff taking over after Gasse stepped down to become the bullpen catcher for the Reading Fightin' Phils, the AA affiliate of the Phillies. 2-2. Gets a piece of it foul from Swerdloff. He stays alive.
Swerdloff, just a good at-bat, and as I mentioned earlier, every at-bat really means more now and is a little bit more intensified down on the scoreboard, as you had a chance to but take this series and Carter Cup tonight to become back-to-back champs. Now they got to really fight back.
And they're going to fly that one out to right field. Oquendo is there. And that's out number 1, so Swerdloff is retired.
Not a bad at-bat there from Swerdloff, as he got down in an 0-2 hole, saw a couple pitches, even the count at 2 apiece, and then put just a lazy fly ball out into right field. But he put it in the deep part of the park, even in a hitter-friendly park. Put that one deep out there for the first out of the inning. But nothing to hang your hat on with the 2-strike knock, or 2-strike piece of hitting the other way, just right at the right fielder.
Yeah, just didn't get a good stroke of luck there. I mean, you know, there's just some at-bats where you know, put your heart and soul into it, but then you can't just execute at the end of the day. So it's unfortunate, but that's the name of the game, and That's what we live with here in baseball. It is an unforgiving game. Vasquez pokes this one out towards right field, and that is going to be a base hit. So Vasquez runs through the bag at first, and now 2 runners are on, including the tying run, as Vasquez setting the Roughriders up well for Andrew Brown. Vasquez now, after that base hit, 2 for 3, a pop out and 2 singles on his resume tonight.
And this is kind of how, when the Roughriders got their one and only run, it happened a little bit. It was a lot of singles, a lot of timely base hits, a lot of just poking the ball to the outfield, and some good base running for them to scratch one across.
And Chris Rollins out there, he kind of acts as the field manager with Kip Bard staying in the dugout. You know, kind of like what Rich Horan does over at Audubon when he wants to make a pitching change. He doesn't walk out there himself. It's the assistant coach Ryan Knoll, or even pitching coach Wade Geis, who makes the change, you know, kind of on his behalf. So, you know, with Kip being the figure in the dugout there who makes the lineups and makes the changes, you know, he's over there hiding in his own little corner. But you know, Chris Rollins will be the guy to eventually make that change if Cottrell ends up going awry. So, I mean, who knows? You know, I look at the CHP pitching stats, and you know, outside of Cottrell and Rollins, there's not a whole lot there. I mean, they have only 2 pitchers that have thrown over 20 innings this year. Rollins with 69 2/3, and then Cottrell with 29 1/3 going into this game. You have Lay at 16 1/3. He's out of the running because he's hurt. Billy Rice has 16. Billy Cavender has 15. Montana Millward has 14. And then Jake Andre has 11. And then you've got a couple of others like Colbert, Still, Davis, and McEwen, who have not made appearances in this playoff run for them, only in the regular season. You know, Still only having 3 at-bats. Lex Still, but still, it's interesting to see how top-heavy this CHP pitching rotation is. I mean, you look at Lay, 16 1/3, 3.86 ERA, very respectable numbers. Cavender with a 2.8 ERA, Rice with a 3.06. In fact, there's only one pitcher who has an ERA above 4, and that's Lex Still, who has a 7 ERA, but that is literally with 2 earned runs in 2 innings. They're going to throw back to second. Not in time. And they're doing anything they can to prevent this from being a game that the Roughriders can get back into. You've got to remember, we've been talking about the weather all night. We've been seeing a lot of flashes to our left over towards Mullica Hill and Glassboro. But the big thing is, the rest of the forecast this week is awful. Wednesday, 85% chance. Thursday, 75. Friday, 75. And Saturday, 35. If this series goes to a game 3, when are you going to play the next game? Are you going to try to slug it out through 5 days of downpours like we're, you know, going through the desert in 40 days and 40 nights? Like, it's not going to be easy. And the bad thing is, I don't have a canoe. I don't have a DWB canoe, and I don't have enough magnets to put on my car. You know, I can't transfer those magnets to a DWB kayak because it's not going to be looking good. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And baseball, Dan, is one of those sports where if it were football, you could maybe play through some rain, obviously not a thunderstorm.
Oh, I've seen it a whole bunch of times, yeah.
But with baseball, the dirt being one of those things, the infield dirt is one of those things that it has to be in a good condition. If you've got puddles in the dirt and the field isn't playable, you can't play through the rain. Baseball,
unless you're a JV baseball player in high school, they'll play through anything.
That's correct. Yeah.
There is ball 4. A close call. Just missed on the inside corner. And now the bases are loaded. Murphy to third, Vasquez to second, with Swerdloff retired on the flyout. And now 3 of 4 batters have reached base. 1 single, 2 singles and a walk. This is not easy for Sean Cottrell.
Cottrell right now with his back against the wall, but he's gotten out of jams before. We'll have to see how he handles this situation.
First pitch to Evan Carbone, is a strike. He was a first-team All-New Jersey Athletic Conference, or NJAC, catcher, a rising junior at Rutgers Camden, a 2022 grad of Highland High School in Blackwood. Here's a ground ball over towards short. Gonzalez, 4-1. The throw was wide, and that gets a run home. It's 3-2. You could hear very audibly the frustration from Gonzalez there. He tried to make the throw on the run, and that was the exact same thing that happened to Danny Vasquez on the other team a couple of innings ago. They tried to turn two, and the throw wasn't wide as much to get him off the bag, but it was wide enough to where for the righty at second base, he has to angle his glove over, and he has to make an unusual turn or an awkward angle to make the play, and that's why he missed it there.
And this one simply comes off of a bad flip from the shortstop, just a flip that took the second baseman a little bit off the bag, not enough to where he didn't get the out. Now there's still 2 outs in the inning, but enough to where it was not able to make a throw to first base. So the run comes in to score, and now the Roughriders, with 2 away and 2 on, are right back in this thing.
So a pinch runner over at first for the catcher, Carbone, with 2 outs. There is the courtesy runner here in the Tri-County League. But the road to a Game 3 is not any easier than it was 5 minutes ago. As now here's the number 9 hitter, Shane Perkins. Slider misses away, 1-0. And with Cottrell's pitch count up, we haven't seen anybody warming in the bullpen, at least formally. Maybe a couple guys are stretching out there. But again, your third best and first best pitching options are out the door. Rollins pitched over 100 pitches last night in his 7-inning loss, and Lay hurt himself. He ruled himself ineligible for the game by being taken out there. He cannot come back in as a relief pitcher. So, you know, your next best option might be Billy, might be William Cavender, could be, you know, Billy Rice or any other of those options as well. You know, you've got a handful of pitchers that are hanging around the 10 to 20 innings pitched mark, and they've all gotten pretty consistent workloads over the summer. They call a balk? No, but they got him the second anyway. Roughriders tried calling a balk there, or at least wanted one, but Cottrell was not phased, and now the runner's at second.
And Dan, I think what happened there was the CHP team was yelling step off, because the runner at first base took off early to try and get in a rundown to potentially score that run from third and tie this game. So instead, Cantrell just stays on the rubber, lets him have second base, doesn't get a balk to get that run in, and I think that's what we heard there from the infielders.
2-2 is absolutely launched to left. This might stay in the park, and it will stay in the park. That wind from the outfield certainly fooling us, but the Roughriders leave 2 runners in scoring position. What will that mean for the final inning? We don't know, but with lots of flashes on the way, we'll have a lot to say in the 7th. As we go to the top of the 7th, 3-2 Cherry Hill Pitman.
Late switch for the visitors. Again inside their 5. Oh, they're going to pitch this one back for the flea flicker. Touchdown, West! Oh, my goodness! Taking inspiration from Nick Foles and Trey Burton. I think they just pulled off the Philly special. That is the greatest touchdown I have ever seen. Well, maybe not the greatest touchdown I've ever seen. Maybe that's stretching a little bit, but one of the greatest touchdowns we've seen in a long time. And it's a tie game.
Adrian Gonzalez up in the top of the 7th. As the Carter Cup still hangs in the balance back there behind home plate, looking for a new winner. And we'll see what happens. Gonzalez, Shaw, and Rollins. Shaw and Rollins both have RBIs tonight, so not completely unprecedented. But it'll just have to be known what happens to them here. Oh, 1 to Gonzalez. Taps this one out towards short. Perkins with a throw. It's high. And he is safe. Murphy just missed the tag. Gonzalez was able to barrel through. That brings up Scott Shaw in the top of the 7th. I mean, considering the Roughriders gave up a run in the bottom of the 6th, it would be nice for them to get some insurance back. Certainly in this situation, that's what you want. So here is Shaw, again had an RBI single in his last at-bat. New pitcher is another national champion out of RCSJ Gloucester and a former Colonial Conference opponent out of Haddon Heights, right-hander Garrett Gordy on the hill here, number 48. With a runner on, no outs in the top of the 7th after the base hit. Shaw goes the other way, gets some good distance on the barrel, but it's foul.
And being a player, playing at Sterling, I've seen Garrett Gordy a couple times. The thing about him that is most tough to pick up on is his release point. If you watch the way he releases, it looks like it's sidearm, and that adds a little bit more movement to the fastball and breaking pitches.
And that's why that arm slot is incredibly low. It's a fly ball to center, caught by Daly, and there is out number 1 as that brings up Chris Rollins. I mean, you're very right. That motion is very chaotic and, one fluid just hook the ball at home plate, but it works. And, look, he's not on RCSJ Gloucester for no reason. He has that element. And, with one away here, we'll see what he's got versus Rollins.
Wow, that ball just kicked away there from the first baseman. They tried to back pick over at first base, and that could have been another thing, another potential disaster for the Roughriders out in the field. We're really just trying to play damage control right now, try and keep it at bay at a 3-2 game and score 1 or more runs in the bottom half of the 7th.
Just missed. 2-0. If you're just joining us, CHP and Roughriders have had a back-and-forth game tonight. Roughriders took an early 1-0 lead on an RBI by Andrew Brown on an infield single. Followed that up with 2 CHP runs in the top of the 4th. And then Roughriders got one back in the bottom of the 6th after CHP had gotten an insurance run. They led by 2. But that's the thing. No team has taken a 2+ run lead in this entire series. Roughriders were up 2-0 at one point, and they finished game 1 last night by a score of 3-1, but not once did they lead 3-0. That's the crazy thing about, this entire series. It was low scoring last year, it was low scoring this year, and it's the exact same opponents, but we see it almost every year here in the Tri-County League, in a league that's dominated by pitching. 3-1, Rollins wavers at it, but flies it down the right field line, and it is out of play onto the soccer field, and he is still running to grab that baseball over in right field. Obviously not taking any cues from Austin Lay, but being able to stay alive there for a 3-2 count.
How about McKenna out there in right field? Really just tried to hustle for it. And again, we're seeing a lot of hustle from both of these teams with such a prize on the line as the Carter Cup, and especially the Roughriders trying to do anything they can to hold this game at 3-2 to try and get back in it.
And that's what McKenna, his younger brother Cole, did last night with that diving play and left. Here comes a throw from the knees. That one goes into right center field, but Gonzalez holds up. And Rollins strikes out for out number 2. So they tried to go for a strike him out, throw him out, but they only got one half of the deal for out number 2, as here is the player manager, Jake Swerdloff, who has done very well for himself tonight. That triple and a single, 2 for 3 tonight, but no RBIs. That one is grounded back to the mound, and the side is retired. CHP goes down with nothing to show for it, and the Roughriders, oh boy, setting up something special with rain on the horizon, maybe coming in the next half hour. We'll have to see, but they've got 3 outs to defend their title, and 3 outs until Cherry Hill Pitman lives to see another day. We'll be right back. Well, Sean Cottrell is right now teetering on many different things. He's 3 outs away from a complete game, but only 2 runs away from allowing the Roughriders to sweep Cherry Hill Pitman. I mean, that was bigger than it seems at the current moment. You know, the fact that CHP didn't score, that's like you've got 40 seconds left in a basketball game and you just blocked the shot at the perimeter. You know, like now the ball's in your court, quite literally. You know, Cottrell can get himself in a groove. I mean, he's ahead in the count 0-2, but who knows what's going to happen. The Roughriders can get hot at any moment. And that one misses, but anything here wins the series and sends Cherry Hill Pitman home for the 2nd time in a row, considering that it's the 3rd time in 4 years these two have met in the same series. It's almost miraculous to see what has happened with these two clubs and what they've been able to accomplish. Two and two. Cottrell delivers and it misses. And a little bit of chirping back and forth, but the count is full.
And Dan, I'm starting to get a little goosebumps out here in right center field, hearing the energy pick up between these two teams with a lot on the line. One team trying to
with a season
fight.
On the line.
Right, one team trying to fight to close it out with a sweep, and the other trying to stay alive and force a game 3. Couldn't have.
3-2 is strike 3, and Shane Daly goes down on strikes for out number 1. Cottrell with just his 3rd strikeout of the night, his 31st on the campaign, and even if you wanted that call to be strike 3 earlier, man, that is a big blow for the Roughriders, especially after holding CHP scoreless in the top of the 7th. And now with one away, remember this is 1, 2, 3 for the Roughriders. Daly, Sabato, and McKenna. 1, 2, 3. This could be something special, or this could be Sean Cottrell working through a complete game here. There is a ball outside, 2-0. And right now the job for Cottrell is not easy. He is working with a zone that has been tightening all night. And Cottrell, with no complete games on his record this season. He's had 8 appearances, and this one is hit well out towards center field. Rice going back, and he is there, just shy of the wall in center, and Monmouth Sabato flies out for out number 2, and Sean Cottrell is 1 out away from his first complete game as a member of Cherry Hill Pitman here in 2024. And now just a quick meeting here, making sure that everything is squared away. As we said, no complete games for him. You know, maybe a couple 5-6 inning outings, but relatively low key for Cottrell, as CHP has had 10 complete games this year, and all 10 have been by Chris Rollins with an 8-2 record. And now the McDaniel College product, formerly of West Deptford, Shea McKenna, steps in. Takes the first pitch inside, ball 1.
Well, Dan, I like what the catcher for CHP just did right there, going out to Cottrell. And he's the guy that really kind of rights the ship a little bit, trying to calm his pitcher down, just one pitch at a time, and going for the complete game win.
That one's outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Again, if we do go to a game 3, it would be tomorrow, weather permitting. But with how bad and ferocious these storms are going to be, remember this is remnants of Hurricane Debbie that just ravaged the East Coast with Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. I mean, they're currently ripping those guys apart down there. This is the outer band of it that's coming through, and it's miraculous that we've gotten through this entire game without any issues, just a couple of flashes in the sky. But the count is 2-1. McKenna grounds this one, diving stop. Rollins has it, gets to his feet, throw to first, is in time, and Cherry Hill Pitman will see another day. They fend off the Roughriders, the late lead, and Sean Cottrell out of Eastern University picks up his first complete game with Kip's Bad Boys at the 3-2 final. In a series that's been dominated by pitching. Man, what a night this was. I mean, you know, look, there was only 2 extra base hits the entire evening. One by CHP, one by the Roughriders. This was a game that was won and lost by pitching. Chase Cooper had 4 walks for the Roughriders, and those issues usually don't curtail ball games, but in a series where every out and every base runner matters, that is exactly what they did. So, I mean, huge props to Sean Cottrell out there tonight. He shocked all of us with what he was able to accomplish.
Yeah, hats off to Sean Cottrell with the complete game win there. And as you mentioned, right, Chris Rollins would have been the perfect guy to go in this situation with the backs against the wall to put the best pitcher in the league out there and just try and get an easy win to go to game 3. But he pitched in game 1 and lost. So Cottrell had a big hole out there and a big... I'm just trying to think of the words because that was such a great performance out on the hill. And I think the thing that really comes to mind is he pitched the contact. Not a lot of strikeouts, let his defense make the plays, got into a couple jams at times, but worked his way out of it, and just a masterful performance there from Sean Cottrell.
Well, we'll be hearing from Sean Cottrell in just a moment with our DWB postgame show brought to you by Harper Driving School. We'll be right back with that and more right after the break.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Tommy D's Home Design Center has opened a second location on Creek Road in Belmar, operating in Philadelphia for over 25 years and now expanding into South Jersey. Tommy D's is the place to go for kitchen cabinets, countertops, and cabinet accessories, heavily discounted compared to big box retailers. Stop in, take a seat, and watch as our experienced kitchen designer makes the kitchen of your dreams right in front of you. Tommy D's is the best in the business for quality kitchen countertops and cabinets that fit all budgets. Call us today at 856-210-9504 or visit the new location in person on the corner of Creek Road and Harding Avenue in Belmar next to the 42 on-ramp. Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Folks, we're here with our Harper Driving School player of the game, Sean Cottrell out of Eastern University. I mean, what a night it was for you. You know, as Chris Rollins is the #1 pitcher in the Tri-County League, sometimes, you know, there's other guys that have to step up and do the job. And you guys went with the more aggressive approach, starting him last night, going with you tonight. But a complete game, your first this year after 7 appearances with Cherry Hill Pitman. But you pitched the contact tonight, and that's what really worked in the end with a 3-2 win. How did you feel out there tonight?
Felt good. You know, they were an aggressive team, so I worked early with my curveball, and, you know, let them get themselves out.
And like I said, only 3 strikeouts throughout the campaign, and you've had 31 after this start tonight. So, you know, it's not like you're striking out 12, 13 batters a game, but you're getting the job done anyway.
Yeah.
And especially in this series, it's not easy to go down 1-0, and it's not easy to go down the way that they did last night. So with you guys having the energy to come back in game 2, you know, forget what happened last night and kind of have a clean slate going into Tuesday's game 2, you guys really seemed rejuvenated on the offensive side of the ball. And I've said before to Chris and to Billy and to everybody that I've interviewed, you guys are a loose team. And you're one of the younger guys on this team where you've got Billy Rice and Chris and, you know, Stronsky and pretty much everybody else up in their, you know, early to mid-30s. So, you know, being a college senior, kind of having to blend into a team where people are 6+ years older than you, you know, you fit in really well in the structure of this roster. So how does it feel being on a team that is so experienced and seasoned as a baseball club while you're fitting in as a college senior and a college graduate?
Yeah, I mean, I've never met a group of guys that wanted to win more. And, you know, when you have that same passion, that same drive, then, you know, you're going to fit in with any baseball team.
And with you guys being down early tonight, you know, going down 1-0, it was looking like it could have been deja vu of game 1, but, you know, you didn't seem rattled at all at any point tonight. You know, your offense did the job for you and your defense did the job for you. Only 1 error for CHP tonight. So the fact that the defense, you know, backed you up and the hitters especially backed you up, you know, you didn't have to do a whole lot out there. And I mean, you had 37 appearances over the 4 years at Eastern University, and the longest appearance you had was 7, like against Albright a couple of times. So, you know, with you throwing a complete game out there, especially in a championship environment, has to feel good to, you know, pull off such an accomplishment after not throwing a complete game during your collegiate career.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you got to come in ready to go no matter what. And, you know, I know the guys had my back behind me, and, you know, that's all I needed, you know, go out, do my job, and, you know, let the offense worry about theirs.
And for yourself, you know, now that we go into a do-or-die game 3 tomorrow night, potentially, depending on if this monsoon ends up hitting us or not, you know, there's a lot to be said about the state of this series. You guys were in the same situation last year. Roughriders swept, and now you guys are living to see another day. So with the dugout being loose, everybody in there seems to be having a whale of a time. Regardless of whether we play tomorrow or Thursday or whatever happens down the road, you guys seem ready for game 3. What's that mindset going on in the dugout?
Yeah, I mean, we're just a group of guys that just wants to win. We're loose. We're ready to go no matter what, rain or shine, and, you know, that's why we're the bad guys. We don't care.
And those bad guys certainly did a good job tonight. Thank you very much, Sean. As a tradition on DWB, we have the player of the game sign the bottom of the scorecard. Make it nice and big for the viewers at home.
Thank you.
So everybody can see that wonderful signature. All right, perfect. He did many of those over at Eastern University, and now he's got another with Kip's Bad Guys. Thank you very much,
Thank
Sean.
you for having me.
Have a good night.
You as well.
All right, from everybody here at Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, our social media coordinators, Brandon the Kegerland and Keely Curran, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Liam Nolan. My producer and color commentator, Jake Clark. I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll keep you updated about the status of tomorrow's game. You can follow us on our Twitter and Instagram at DW Broadcasting, along with our Facebook, also at Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. When we have updates on what's going on, because this field might be suitable for canoeing tomorrow in the morning. But we'll let you know when we have the first update on the status of tomorrow's game and any weather that may impact it. And after that, our next broadcast will be Saturday, August 17th with RCSJ preseason soccer versus Cecil College of Maryland. That'll be all for us tonight. Cherry Hill Pitman lives to see another day and looks to fend off the Roughriders one more time tomorrow night. 3-2 is the final. That'll be all for us tonight. Have a good one, folks, and stay dry.